Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. You've tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and this is Andrea L. Hines, your host for When Life Speaks. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to connect with us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it's a blessing to your life, it just may be for someone else as well. So tag, share, invite someone, then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. I am your host, Andrea L. Hines, and I welcome you wholeheartedly this evening because I tell you what, we're going to have fun tonight. You know, sometimes I have different guests on and we have different topics. Sometimes they're heavy, sometimes they're a little lighter, the lighter side of life. But I tell you, we've been doing a series on the art of aging. And we have touched on some very, very interesting things as we're getting older. And I've started every show by saying that, you know, if you wake up tomorrow morning, guess what? You're getting older. You're going to get a little bit older every time you have the opportunity to open your eyes. And it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Life holds many challenges for us, many opportunities for us to make different choices. And it also carries with it blessing after blessing after blessing. And I am so, so glad about that. For those of you who haven't been with us from the beginning, we've been talking about, you know, aging, what it means to many of us, how it makes us feel, what it does to the people around us, how they see it when they see us walking a little slower or not doing things the way that we used to do. And the favorite of all is, what'd you say? Can you say that again? And that TV that you can hear outside because you just can't hear the way that you used to. It's a lot of things that go on and a lot of things that happen. And one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight has to do with that thing called love, the affairs of the heart. Indeed, indeed, indeed. There are people who get married, who've been married several times, 2, 3 times, 4 times. There's some who have never been married. There are some who have made the decision that once was enough. And there are other people who say, you know what? I want to share my life with somebody else. So as you get older, we just thought we'd kind of tap on and tap into this issue of finding love later in life. Are you even looking for love later in life? What does it look like to you? What does the dating pool look like and the dating scene look like? And tonight I have on 2 of my favorite people. When I tell you they are my favorite people, they are my favorite people. Don't anybody else get jealous. Y'all don't have to get mad now, but I want to introduce you to them. They are Carmen and Hyacinth Thompson. Some of you already know them, but I'm going to bring them into the screen now, and you're going to get to know them a little bit better tonight. There they are. Hey, ladies.
Hello, good evening.
How are you doing tonight?
Doing good so far.
Good so far?
Yeah.
Well, you're looking beautiful, so I'm glad that you are here. I want to tell everybody, these are 2 ladies that I have known for a number of years, and we just have become friends. And when I told them about the topic and invited them to join me tonight, I said it's going to be just like it is in the car. And we have some great conversations in the car when we're traveling from one place to another. So this is going to be kind of a car conversation, but we're going to let the other people share in what we got to talk about. How about that?
I think they're ready. Are they ready to share in our conversations?
Now, both of these ladies have been on When Life Speaks separately. Carmen has been on with me before, and she was actually one of the actresses when we did our version of The Train. She played in that for us, that online reading, and she was absolutely amazing, and we loved it. And Hyacinth was on with me early on when I first started doing When Life Speaks, and she was talking about the challenges that she had with her son as he battled kidney disease. And she was a wonderful, wonderful guest, smart lady. But Carmen, tell us what you do professionally. And then Hyacinth, you tell us what your professional background is.
Professionally, I'm in human resources, but I don't have to deal with all that icky hiring and firing. I focus on leadership development, helping leaders work more effectively. So I've done that for the past 20 some odd years, and I love it.
Do you love it? What about you, Hyacinth?
I have been a registered nurse for about 43 years, just a little bit of time, right?
Just a little bit. Just a little
Just a
bit.
little bit, yeah. Yeah, about 43 years, and I enjoyed it. So now I just sit back home and tell all the people who are recruiting me, no thank you. Just enjoying life.
Enjoying life, and that's the thing to do, I tell you. When we got on this topic, this particular topic, I thought about you all because Hyacinth, how old were you when your first marriage?
I
How old were you when you
was
got married?
I was 22 going on 23.
22 going on 23. And Carmen, you have never been married, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I want to get some perspective here from both of you because dating in and of itself has changed a lot from when you got married the first time and when you got into the dating stage of life. Things have changed. I remember that if Lynn was going out with anybody, she wasn't going without a license plate number and a make and model of the car and what she had on. We had to fill those things out. We had to know what was happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I mean, you say that to people and they think you have absolutely lost your mind.
I don't know. That part hasn't gone away. I have taken a picture of a license plate or two. So that has not gone away.
Good. That's good news.
I think it's wise in these days. It is wise
Yes.
to do that.
Yes.
Still.
Absolutely. And I want to get to, I'm going to just dive right in here because I really want to talk about the issue of online dating because it's something that both of you have tried. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the pros and cons. Don't be shy. Come on.
Well, I can tell you the pros and cons is, have you ever heard the term catfishing?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big con.
Mhm.
Because people will tell you things that they would like to be, but they've never been.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that can be a big problem.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like I met this gentleman who his profile said he was a doctor. What was it?
A doctor of medicine.
A doctor of medicine. So right away, I know right there he was lying. Because no doctor called themselves a doctor of medicine. And he was wearing a scrubs and with a stethoscope around his neck. Yes, ma'am. So to me, who's been in the profession for so many years, that's a dead giveaway. Then I started asking him some medical questions,
Aha.
which the guy had no clue what I was talking about.
Wow.
So I just put an X across his face and know that that's the last time we're going to speak.
Not an X across his face.
Yes, ma'am.
That's kind of cruel. Put an X across his face.
Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
Done. You over
X
with that.
marks the spot. Yes.
Carmen, what do you think? What?
Well, I'll take the affirmative since she took a con. I'll say one of the pluses of online dating is the convenience of it. You know, I'm a busy professional. My life is full. I may not always have the time to meet someone in a in the grocery store or whatever. And so online dating is just a convenient way to initially meet someone. I can sit at home just like I shop for grocery online. I can sit at home and I can swipe left or right, or it's just convenient. But I will say, even if you've met someone virtually or online, you still have to vet them. You still have to get to know them. You still have to ask them questions about their profession. You still have to get to know them. So that element is still there. It's just a convenient way to initially meet. For busy people is what drew me to even consider the possibility of online dating.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me this: were you surprised when your mom said, or did you tell her that you were going to start this?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
And I thought it was something fun and interesting, a matter of convenience. And so I actually helped her build her first online dating profile.
Yeah.
Oh my. I cannot even imagine.
Well, and I thought she was crazy then, but then I already knew she was crazy. So I just put the icing on the cake.
And help her pick out her pictures and tell her what to say and how to phrase and what not to say. Oh yeah, lots of fun.
You actually think that, and sometimes we do things and they are a lot of fun and you enjoy doing them. But did you think at the time that you would actually find a soulmate, find someone that you would end up being married to, because you all are married now?
Well, yes, but not really. I just did it for fun because my daughter told me it was fun. So I did. But I was very skeptical about online.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, okay, reluctantly. Well, I'm going to try it. It can't hurt because these people won't see me or know me.
Now tell me this: how long was it between the time that your marriage was ended, that you ended up dating again, seriously dating again?
Well, it was about 20,
a long time,
25 years.
25 years. Okay.
Yeah, for a long time. Yes, ma'am.
And were you apprehensive at all? Were you one of those people that I'm one of those people that I was married. My marriage didn't work out, and that was fine. And I had no, being in my younger years, I'll put it this way. The thing that always bothered me was I didn't want to grow old alone.
Right.
I did not want to grow old alone. But as I got older and as my needs and wants and all of that began to change, and as I became more aware of who I was and whose I was, I was happy. I'm happy with my life. I'm comfortable with my life. And I say, if one more preacher got up and said, it's not too late for you, and now if it's tapping on my shoulder, and I'm like, leave me alone. Did you ever think that you would marry again, that you would find love later in life? And how'd you feel about that?
Well, I was hoping to. The thing about it was I enjoy being married. And the period of time when I had to raise my three children alone, it was a bit scary. It was lonely. And I kept my children busy in all different kind of things in school because I feel like if you're involved, then you have a lesser chance of getting into trouble.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
really keep them involved, but keeping them involved stresses me out because I remember the time when I was the only one in the house that drives.
Oh,
So,
I know that feeling.
and
Yeah.
I've always had two jobs. So just imagine that and being pulled in three directions, driving people here, there, and everywhere. And I
Right.
know now that it was only through the mercy of God
Yeah.
that I was able to pull that through.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, let me stop right here and welcome Linda Cooks. Linda, thank you for being with us tonight. We got Angie O on the line from South Carolina. Thank you for being here. Victoria Henderson is with us tonight. See who else I can pick up in this thing. Francina's with us. Good evening to you, ladies. Thank you
Mhm.
for being on the line tonight.
Look,
And
those
Jenny,
are names I know.
Hi,
Hello.
ladies. Hi, ladies.
of you happen to have a question that you want to put in the comment section, we will try and get to that as well. Now, I want to shift just a little bit because usually when we're talking about people who are marrying or remarrying and there are children involved, there are a lot of challenges, or I shouldn't say a lot of challenges, but there are challenges in blending the family. But we never really talk about blending the family when there are adult children. When your children are older and they have definite ideas about what they see for their mom or their dad and where they envision them being in life and in other things. And I know when I was reading the second half, one of the things that it says is, I'm not sure when it happened, seems I laid down to rest, and when I woke up, my children had decided only they knew what was best. So there's a role reversal that occurs
Yes,
through
yes.
this art of aging. Carmen, what did you think, when your mom came to you? Or how did you tell her that you had, made a connection?
How did you tell me?
Well, how did well, I kind of tell her everything, which could be a big mistake.
No, that's what she's supposed to do.
but
That's what she's
but
supposed to do.
I kind of told her. I said, "Well, guess what? We're speaking on the phone, and we did communicate via the internet for a while. And then he said to me, I'm not crazy about that. Here's my phone number. Let's speak on the phone." So we did for a while, and then I told Carmen that we've been speaking on the phone.
Mhm.
So it was a progressive,
Yeah,
bit of information. And I thought it was so adorable that the first time, he's my Papa Lee now. And so the first time that he came in person to me, was that the first time in person meeting?
that's the first time we ever met.
His
Yeah,
his
when
son.
his son drove him down because he was living in Virginia, and I was in Raleigh.
And so I'm
His
at her
son,
house to greet both of them so that I can meet. So it was really, I thought it was really sweet that his son was supporting him and drove him to meet mom the first time. And I'm at her house to greet them both. And he says now that I grilled him, that I interviewed him. Maybe I did, but when you ask about, blended families with adult children, I really came to understand that the children both want the same thing. We love our parent and want to see them happy and to have companionship. And we want to make sure that it's a healthy situation for our parent. I want that for my parent, and Papa Lee's children want that for him. And so we all want the same thing. And so it really was a good blend. Everyone gets along, and we've been able to all spend time together. And so it's been really a pleasant experience, and I thank God for that.
Well, I tell you, you were a beautiful couple, and I was glad that I was able to join the celebration. Uh, it was just it was just wonderful, and let me tell you, this woman looked absolutely gorgeous.
It
It was
did.
Thank,
insane how pretty
thank
she
you so much.
was.
We would not have it without you.
Well, it has been. I'm going to pull up something that Francina said, and I want you all to comment on it as well. And you have a little bit already, but you said more content now. Wouldn't mind having someone to go to dinner or the movies with. Then we go our separate ways to our homes. So,
Okay.
I've heard that a lot, that people may not mind even being married, but they want to live in separate houses. I've heard that a lot.
and
Yeah.
I know couples who do, not just in separate houses, but in different states. And they
Ooh,
have been married for, let's see, 20 over 20 years.
maybe that's why.
Could be.
Yeah, because
Could be.
after I was married for 25 years, we decided to live in separate homes in separate states.
Well, you got a
That's,
divorce, so that,
you think that had something to do with it, Carmen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I tell you this. I think that I know one of our listeners was saying that she's over 50, and she said she thought about dating after her divorce.
yeah.
However, it's something that she would consider if she truly felt that God's hand was in it. But he would have to clearly confirm that. She said, clearly confirm it. Now, here's an interesting statement, and I wonder what your perspective would be on this. She said, I'm somewhat hesitant about dating because I have two daughters. And they often tell me, Mom, you don't need anyone. You have us. I
Mm.
know that comes from love, but it still makes me pause. I've also been out of the dating world for a very long time, and honestly, the thought of starting over at this age feels exhausting.
Mm.
What do you think about that, and how do you prevent that from happening? I know that there is you all have a wonderful relationship, and I live my life vicariously through your travels and things that you do, and you enjoy each other and you have a good time with each other. But I have heard some really horror stories when the children don't want to let go of the relationship that they have with their mom or their dad. They see it as having to let go. They see it as someone taking their mom or dad away from them.
Mm.
But that doesn't happen when the marriage or remarriage occurs. That's something that needs to happen long before that takes place. I hope I'm making myself clear, but I'm trying to look at what I'm trying to pinpoint is there are ways in raising your children that the independence that you put within them keeps them from being threatened or feeling threatened if someone else comes into your life.
I agree wholeheartedly. That is so true. But I believe I raised my children to be independent,
Mhm.
even though, as people who know us know that we were twins. We traveled a lot together. We go places together and we have fun together.
You do.
But yeah, but when it comes to that kind of separation, to me, I did not feel that I was taking myself away from Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then we don't really go out as often as we did when I was single.
Mm-hmm.
But we still do hang out sometimes together.
Mm-hmm. Now, Carmen, have you ever had conversation with Carmen has a son, Tyler, and he's married and has beautiful kids, a beautiful wife. Had you ever had conversation with him, just random, and talked about how he might feel if you, when you get married?
Yeah, we've had conversation about it because I've been in relationships, long-term relationships, and he's certainly met the man that I'm in relationship with. And my son is interesting. He's not one of these like overbearing, overprotective, nobody's gonna date my mama. He's not one of those. He trusts my judgment. He knows I'm not going to tolerate a lot of shenanigans. He knows I'm not going to tolerate foolishness. So he's kind of like, if you like it, I love it kind of response as far as me dating is concerned. So he knows that if I've chosen this man, if I am with him in relationship, and especially if I, to the point, say that I'm going to marry him, he knows that this man has obviously passed, whatever tests I have. So he trusts my judgment. It hasn't been a push and pull kind of thing. And then too, I'm very selective. And so there hasn't been like a parade of a lot of different men that he's had to meet. So yeah, it's been he's understanding of whoever I might choose.
Mm-hmm. What do you think are a couple of the most important things? And this is for both of you. If you had to name the top three things that you look for or expect from a partner or someone that you are looking to build a relationship with, what would they be?
For me, like I told my husband when I first met him, he has to love the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
He has to love going out, love traveling, because that's my life. And what's the next one?
Probably honesty, I would think.
Well, yes, honesty, because
Okay.
I do not tolerate liars.
Okay.
So we have to be open and honest with each other.
Open and honest. Okay. That
Mhm.
works. That works. What about you, Carmen?
I gave mom honesty because that's on the top of my list. I know that's important to her too, but yeah, honesty and openness is certainly at the top of the list. We have to align with our faith. So very similar standards as far as that is concerned. I will say that in my 20s and even 30s, the list that I had is much different than the list that I
Yeah.
have dating in my 50s. It
Yes.
looks
Yes.
very different. There were a lot of, not, I wouldn't say superficial, but there were a lot of outer things on the list. And there are more inner things on the list that I might have now at 50, like, being able to show empathy,
Mm.
being able to understand me and be empathetic, because I am someone who is
Sensitive?
sensitive. I'm emotionally intelligent. Okay, I'm in touch with my emotions. So, someone who is empathetic and is understanding is very important to me. That wasn't on my list in my 20s and 30s. Maybe
Right.
his salary might have been on my list in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that, and I think that that is what changes with many of us. You know, the things, especially if you have children, it's important to us as women is how that man presents himself. You know, to my children. That is not, you know, how does he create a secure place? Does he create a safe place for us, because we are a unit? You know, you can't
Amen.
have one without the other. And by the time you have raised your children, like you were saying, Hyacinth, and prayerfully raise them well and to be independent and well rounded, those things are not at the top of your "this is what I want" list. You know, that changes. It changes over time. What do you think is the biggest red flag that keeps people, how do I want to put it, that keeps people from making that step, or for entering in that place of trying again? What do you think is the biggest red flag with that?
I think what keeps people from trying again is the fear of being hurt, the fear of the relationship not working, that you've spent time getting to know someone and then it doesn't work. But I say, what if it does? What if it does work? And I feel like, here I am, I'm, part of the 50 club now. And, I'm not married, haven't been married. And it may be easier to say, oh, forget it. It's just not going to happen. It's not meant for me. But I love love and I still believe in it. And yes, I had, relationships that didn't end in marriage, but doesn't mean that the next relationship will not be the one. And I just feel like that next relationship could be the one that makes me forget about all the past ones that didn't work. So I just say, just like you're thinking it may not work and why try again? Well, what if you are the happiest you've ever been in your life, if you've given it a chance? And I wanted to go back to what you were saying about one of your listeners, that her daughter said, you have us, you don't need nobody. I don't know about that, because I mean, I'm close to my son and his wife and their family, but they can't fulfill everything that I may need in a companion. you know like that's a whole different kind of love.
Yes.
And they can't meet that need. And so I wonder about folks that feel like, oh, I'm fulfilled enough with my church and my family, and all those are great, and I'm fulfilled in those areas. But there's another compartment of romantic love from a partner that those other areas can't touch, because that's a different kind of love.
Hyacinth, what do you think? You think it's fear?
No, I don't think it's fair. And I think that child is being selfish.
Oh, you saying fair as in
What
equal? She's saying, do you think it's
I
Why,
thought you,
why people don't try again? Why they don't try again? Do you
well,
think it's fear?
it's up to, I would not say whether or not it's fair. It's entirely up to the individual. Because some people said, I've been married before and I have no interest in getting married again. I'm too old to get married, and all these things. And it's an individualized thing.
Right,
But
right.
I didn't say that. That wasn't for me. So it's, I can't judge anyone by their feeling and their behavior, but I can only speak for Hyacinth.
Hmm.
And that was never my conversation.
And speaking for Hyacinth is a good thing, because I think that what is most important is to gain an understanding of who we are as individuals. You know, what works for Hyacinth may not work for me.
Amen.
What works for me may not work for Carmen.
That's
So when
right.
I hear and when we listen to stories about, oh, this happened and that happened and the other happened, or that entity that we go into that says, wouldn't be me, girl.
right?
No, we got some friends out there, honey, that would not be me. No. Catch air and we nod and we do all
Catch air. I like that.
we do all that stuff. But the reality of it is I have to know what works for me. I have to know and understand what works for him and can that work together.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we don't think that far ahead, or we don't think in those terms. And I listened to people. I was looking, something came up from Steve Harvey on one of his programs, and the woman said something like, well, Steve, my friend and I have been dating for 8 years. And I'm just trying to figure out, do you think if I ask him to marry me and he says he needs more time, and I'm like, and sometimes I think, and I think one of you mentioned it, that we allow ourselves to believe what we think we need to believe,
or what we hear, everything we hear.
That will allow you to fulfill the dream. Everybody has a dream of how they think it's going to be, and it's like we say, parenting doesn't come with a manual. Marriage doesn't come with a manual either. And while you can look around and see all of the books and all of the things about the dating do's and don'ts, there's no cookie cutter. There's no cookie cutter, because my nuances and the things, and even in terms of then and now, Carmen, like you were saying, the things that bothered me and that would have been not necessarily a red flag, but would have ended a relationship when I was 20, the world ain't gonna stop spinning at 70. It's not as important. You live and you learn that some things are just not that deep. Yes, and you are able to find the peace, because it's all about the peace and being able to be in that comfortable, safe space.
Yeah, and to understand your deal breakers, because although some of the things that were a big deal in my 20s are not such a big deal in my 50s, but there are some foundational truths that don't change, like, honesty and those kind of things. So, I have some deal breakers that if those things happen, then all bets are
non-negotiable.
That's right. So you don't settle just because, I'm 50 and never been married. And that's not something to hide or to be ashamed of. No, right. Because I know who I am and I know whose I am. And it doesn't mean something's wrong with me. And it doesn't mean that I can't find someone or there's desperation needs to set in. No, not at all. It just says that I know who I am. I'm not settling. And I didn't expect to be, at this place in my life and never have been married. That wasn't the plan at all, but it's where I find myself. But it doesn't mean that I cut corners and I allow things that are deal breakers in my life. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I got something. Andrea L says something down here. She says, thought about being married again, just wondering how that would look. How things would be. She said how things would be.
How old is that person who's saying that?
Huh?
How old is that person who is saying that?
Oh, who's saying that? Mm-hmm. The question is, how old is that person who's saying that? So that person who's saying that, put your age up there in the comments. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Linda says
that's
50.
Right.
That's new 30.
That's right. 50
that's right. 30. That's right. But you know what I find about being
55, Hyacinth. The lady, she's 55.
55.
Why do you ask how old she is?
Because I know I'm older than that person.
Oh, okay.
And I don't see it that way. That's why I asked what her age was, because I know I'm older. Yeah.
And Carmen,
So
you had
what
some.
I'm trying to say is age doesn't matter.
Yeah, I believe that. I
Hmm.
believe that.
But dating in your 50s is for when I compare it to my 20s and 30s, it's much better because I'm confident and sure of myself. And it's not in my 20s and 30s, I was like, oh, I hope he likes me. And I hope it's more like, do I like him? And do I want to be with him? Because I enjoy me and I will date myself and I'll take myself out and enjoy myself and have a wonderful time on my own. And I know I always have me to fall back on. And so if it doesn't work with him, I mean, I'm a social butterfly and I would like that companionship for it to work out. But if it doesn't, it is not the end of the world
That,
because I enjoy me. And I don't know
Amen.
if I enjoyed me as much in my 20s and 30s as I do now in 40s and 50s.
yeah, I can tell you for sure my answer would be no. I wasn't that fond of me in my, in my 20s and 30s. Not as much as I am now. And
No.
Yeah.
somebody told me a long time ago, and it really, really changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I was not uh, necessarily a confident person.
Mm.
And the work that God has done with and through me amazes me even now, because I would, I would tell people in my classes and things that I had, I would get on the elevator on the first floor, ride all the way to the 12th floor, and not be able to tell you anything about anybody on it.
Mm.
I said I would be a horrible witness to a crime.
Mm.
What do you have on? Hey, well, I don't know. How tall? I don't know. And I just didn't, because I thought, if I look at you, there's a chance that you might say something. And
Wow.
then you're going to want to have a conversation. And
Mm.
I don't want to have a conversation. I was very introverted in that way. I didn't see it as being that,
Mm.
but that's really what it was. Now I come to church, and my position is to be a greeter, to stand at the door and to welcome people in. And I had somebody say to me, "Oh, you were born for this," and I thought, you have no idea
Wow. Wow.
how hard God had to work.
God has a great sense of humor.
Yeah, to bring this to reality. So I find that I have reached a place, as this person said, always remember that rejection is only one man's opinion.
Mm.
Amen. That's a good one.
That is good.
That thing has really, I have held on to that, and it just makes me stronger, because there's always someone who is willing to knock you down, to pull you down, to plant a negative seed, and to say, why are you doing that? Why would you go on a site? Why would you this? Why would you that? And if you don't have the ability to shut those voices down, by doing a little introspective work, and be able to say, this is something that I need to fix, or this is something that I need to celebrate, you will always be at that point of indecision, and
Mm.
possibly miss the opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely. Confidence is so attractive. And even if you say, well, I'll never do online dating, that's not for me. Even if you decide, when I go to the post office tomorrow, I'm going to be intentional about raising my head, to the point, looking at people in the eye and just smiling at other people, just, wearing that confidence as a badge, if you will, with intention of, I'm single and I would like to meet someone. I'll never get online, but at least go out in the world and raise your head and look at people in the eye and smile and be confident and be open, because God may have someone that's right in front of you to meet, but your head is down and you not looking at in the elevator because you don't want them to actually
Uh-huh.
talk to you.
Girl, I missed them on the way to the 12th floor.
Just be open and confident and willing to converse with people, in a safe way. But I just feel like it's about confidence and openness.
Is there a final? This time has gone by so quickly, but is there a final word of encouragement or hope or whatever that you would like to leave with our audience tonight when it comes to finding love later in life?
I would say it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
I bet she was. She's married. She's married now.
I is married. But I think it's a good thing. Companionship is always good. And I think more so once you get older.
Yeah, I believe.
I think it's a good thing. And it's good to have a good companion that you can talk with, and you go out, quite a bit and do things together. And I think it's good.
That's good. That's
That's
good.
what I've asked the Lord for, and He answered my prayer.
There you go.
Amen.
There you
Amen. And let's see, my final word of encouragement. I just want to encourage all the seasoned singles out there. Even if you haven't found that partner yet and you find yourself unexpectedly single, there's nothing wrong with you.
Amen.
You can still live a fulfilled life. You are still chosen, maybe not chosen by a man or the opposite sex, but you are chosen by God. He knows every hair on your head, and He loves you, and He's got purpose for your life. And I would say, in the meantime, love on yourself, date yourself, take yourself to dinner, take yourself to the movies. The best, one of the best, not the best, because present company excluded, not the best vacation I've ever taken, but one of the best vacations I've ever taken. I flew myself to Puerto Rico for my birthday. Oh my gosh. Had the best time. I felt so empowered and encouraged and strong that I could do something wonderful for myself, and I didn't have to depend and wait on someone else. I could just love on me. So just in the meantime, love on yourself, date yourself, and be encouraged and confident in your singleness. And that is so attractive. Before long, something else, something wonderful may happen. But even if it doesn't, you are whole and wonderful just as you are.
Amen.
Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Now you know what to do. You got your marching orders.
Got to fly to Puerto Rico.
Ladies, thank you so much for being with me tonight. It has been a joy to have you, and I don't know. We'll see what happens next time around. Whatever other good topics come up, because I tell you, the car conversations really carry over.
We were good tonight. Our car conversations are
a little bit more.
We were on best behavior tonight.
So I'm going to tuck you all away. Don't leave, though. I will talk to you in a few minutes, but we're going to shut it down for the night. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Life Speaks. I hope you all enjoyed Hyacinth and Carmen tonight. They had some wonderful insights and wonderful things to share with us on this issue of love later in life. So I appreciate them. I appreciate each of you for coming on. We have another couple of programs to delve into this just a little bit deeper, a different kind of story, and hopefully we'll be able to share that with you next week. But in the meantime, I just want to let you know, come on back. I'm here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. And then there is a replay on every Saturday at noon. So if you missed it today, you weren't able to come on, or if you want to know somebody who's, kind of apprehensive about dating later in life, or who may never have been married and wants to just kind of feel their way, hey, this was a good conversation tonight, and they can hear it again on Saturday at noon. So until next week, let me tell you, when you come back, be ready to turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, guess what? You'll speak life. Good night.